Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So yesterday, I was headed back from England to the US, and I wasn't going straight home to Houston. I was going to go to the West Coast, which made the flight a lot longer. It's like 11 and a half hours. I get to the plane, and I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling actually a little bit iffy. And you don't want to just say, hey, I'm feeling iffy, let me on an airplane, because everybody's going to go, COVID, which I don't see how I could have had COVID. I've had it recently. I've had it twice. I've gotten my shots, you know. I just think I'm just not feeling great. So I get on the airplane. And once you get on an airplane like that, you're locked in. I mean, locked in for 11 and a half hours of flying time. And so we get up in the air and they offer you dinner. And I'm not really feeling up to dinner. So I'm like, no, it's okay. And they say, well, are you sure you don't want some dinner? And I'm like, no, I really don't want to eat dinner. Thank you though. And the nice flight attendant keeps asking, hey, you want some dinner? Can I get you anything? And I don't want to say, no, I might be sick, because then COVID panic might set off. So instead I'm just, nah, you know, I think I'm just going to sleep. Thank you though. So I start trying to sleep, and I mean, I'm up, but I'm sleeping, and I'm up and I'm sleeping. And then I decide I need to go find the restroom, which actually was pretty close to my seat, thankfully, because whatever it is that's in my digestive system has decided it doesn't want to be there anymore, and which is a polite way of saying, I'm about to throw up. You know, you get that ache in your jaw and then your mouth starts salivating. So I go, and fortunately there's nobody in the restroom, and I'm able to just, well, I don't need to talk about it. You can imagine. And I go back to my seat. I'm feeling a little bit better. Now, flights dehydrate you. But once you've expelled everything in your system, you're well on that road to dehydration already. So I'm thinking, well, I don't want to put anything back in me, but maybe I could just have a sip of water. So a sip of water, a sip of water. And I'm trying to do the best I can. And I got to tell you, it's one of the most miserable flights I've ever been on. And the flight is about an hour and a half from landing. And I realize I got no choice. I'm about to just lose even the little bit of water I was nursing. So I get up and I jump to the bathroom, and some young lady had just gotten in there, and it was pretty clear she was not going to be out of there in time for me. So the flight attendant looks at me and says, you don't look well. Can I do anything for you? And I said, do you have like I tried to think of a polite word for a barf bag, and she said, yes, yes, and gets me one, and I proceed to make very good use of it. And I land and finally get home. I take a COVID test. It's not COVID. It's just something that just whacks you out. And so that's my last 24 hours as I'm getting ready to film my video thought for the day for today. And I come across Psalm 124. It says, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when people rose up against us, they would have swallowed us up alive. You know, it'd be like a flood that just sweeps over us when their anger was kindled against us. And I remember many times in my life reading this psalm thinking, the psalmist doesn't have some Pollyanna view of the world that says God keeps you from ever having struggles and difficulties and hard times. In a very realistic way, the psalmist says God works through those times with you to grow you and for your own good and for the good of this world. And so I look at a day like yesterday, and I realize it's not the kind of day I'd have written for myself. But instead of blaming God for me being sick on the plane, I think the right approach is to say, thank you, God, for seeing me through that. Because if he hadn't, I don't know where I'd be. So I hope this is a message for you today that God, never, we shouldn't look at God as someone who's going to keep anything bad or difficult or hard from us. We need to look at him as someone who will never let us have more than we can handle, but then will work through whatever it is with us on our side to a good end. And that's what I have to say today. One more video thought for the day coming to you tomorrow, but this is yours for today.